You ready?
Oh, they playing around. They're both the brothers. What up, y'all? It's your girl Trish, DTL Poetic Vibes Podcast. I am your host for the day. We got D in the building and our lovely guest, Artistic Genius.
What's going on?
Welcome.
What up?
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
About time I got on this podcast.
So we usually started off with just allowing you to, any other artists to give a full introduction of who they are. So tap in. Go ahead and give your little intro before we dive into these questions and the little games.
Yeah, I always say I'm a multifaceted artist, visual artist, poet, writer, author. I'm also the curator and host of a poetry night called SayWordWeds. My girls got to come down there and check it out, perform, you know what I'm saying? So I am a multifaceted kind of person. I tap into a lot of things and I just love anything art related. I come from Youngstown / Campbell, Ohio. I reside in Columbus right now. So I'm for all things art and I love to just connect and collaborate with different artists and poets. So yeah, that's my vibe.
Yo,
So
I'm
glad
telling
you're
you, yo,
It's well overdue.
Listen,
Overdue.
Is it what?
It is well overdue. Like,
I was waiting on y'all.
listen, being in Ohio, I feel like I wish we would have stayed longer.
Yeah, for sure.
But it definitely was a vibe and an experience. And I'll make sure that everybody can tap into your platform through YouTube channel. They can find you through Instagram, social media. So that way it gives people an opportunity to like do what we did. We flew out.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely always looking for featured poets. And you ain't got to be like on this platform to where you like a popular poet. Like I try to give everybody a chance because I know what it's like as a poet starting off. So like it's inclusive to everybody.
Absolutely. I tell people like the best thing is to just kind of expand your horizons, stop being comfortable within your own city. I hear that a lot from Mo. Mo always tells us like, there's poets out in VA that like haven't really fully experienced Philly or anything outside of VA, and they know there's other poets and poetry platforms, but they so confined. So it's just like you got to step out of that comfort zone in order to be exposed. Like one of the biggest things that we talk about on a lot of podcast episodes is that like people tend to only want to go somewhere if they're booked for something, and then it's just like, well, you gotta be able to know if that's the platform you want to touch. You gotta feel the atmosphere. You gotta expand your horizons, because if you don't, how you gonna know you want to perform there?
Right. Because I mean, you can be booked for something that's like a disaster, because I have been booked for events that just like was not my speed. Like this is not my vibe, but like, money was on the table and it was like, okay, I'm gonna see what it's about. And then it was like, okay, now I can't accept just any type of booking. I have to go fill out the space and see what type of event it is, because you end up kind of like sacrificing yourself in a way because it don't resonate with you. So
absolutely. And I think it's just a matter of just kind of testing the waters of, okay, well, where do I need to be? A lot of times I think what taught me being out in Ohio is something I always wanted to experience, just going somewhere that's out of the popular atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because everybody, you see the same people everywhere.
Yes.
And it's like it's like the question ends up remaining in your head, like, do the popular stages end up being considered overrated? Because it's like, all right, I get it, but when you've done it so many times, it's like, what else is there? They can't just be this. They can't just stop here. There has to be more. And y'all know me, I'm a person that's like, poetry is more than just open mics and spoken word. It's deeper than that. Let's not be mediocre here. Like you gotta really test everything, all angles, everywhere. I'm gonna step outside the box.
For sure. I mean, whether that's churches, universities, and because I've performed at quite a few churches and colleges and things like that. So like that definitely opens up your mind to a whole different, lifestyle when it comes to poetry. And I think I had this conversation with somebody about like, not necessarily the platforms, and this is no disrespect to any poets at all, because I think get your bag, like for sure. Like it's a blessing to be able to see poets who
Right.
are like reoccurring at events or just popping up on every flyer. But I think that's where we kind of get a little like jaded when it comes to making a collective thing, like making it inclusive to poets who have never been featured before. And that's one of my, she is so cute. That's one of my biggest things is like, there was a time where I was that poet who never got featured. I was that poet who was just trying to get my foot in the door.
Exactly.
And I had to create those spaces. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's like people don't want to book you if they don't see you got a certain amount of followers, certain amount of traction. So it's become like a hype thing in a way for
Like
some
based off of
instances,
clout
not
and
all. Yes, yes, yes. And I never want to be that type of like curator. I always want to, I don't care if you got 100 followers, if you are pushing your gift and you are showing that you want this, like, I'm going to book you. I'm going to put you on the feature because I just feel like that's how it starts for people. And then you see somebody who started off and the platform was like, that was their first time featuring and now they're taking off because they just need that one chance to just like showcase themselves.
right,
You got a
right.
question for me? What's your
Hello,
question?
Egypt. Hi, Egypt.
I think she about to take over the interview for real.
Right. Yeah, like you saying, like some people are just starting off and don't know where to start, or like they need an avenue, or just figured out that there was a poetry scene. Like not everybody is trying to make that money when they're trying to just hear, like, have people listen to their poetry.
Yeah, just network. Yeah, that's sometimes that's what it takes. Like I have showed up to plenty of places. Like, look, I'll perform on your platform. Like, are y'all looking for poets? You can't be too like big minded, like to be like, I'm not doing that, or like, you know what I'm saying? When you're trying to like build that network and that, that community of people. And I understand to where some people get to a certain level is like, I'm not doing anything for free because sometimes I get in the mindset to where it's like, if I know somebody has the funds or like a organization, like don't reach out to me asking me to perform for free when I know y'all are pushing like these funds into other people or other organizations and things like that. So I think that's the only time I get kind of like offended. But like there's been plenty of times where I've showed up to places and performed for free because I feel like at the end of the day it's not just about the money. You gotta eat though, but still.
How was it for artistic genius to start off? Like, how was your start off?
So my start off it started in undergrad, like when I first went to college, immediately after high school, maybe like a year after high school, at YSU. We had this hub to where it was like coffee and like poetry and stuff like that. And I was always writing. Like I had always wrote, I would say it to myself, but I never had the courage to really, really perform. And I would say it to people that were close to me and they were like, this is good. Like you should share it. I think the very first time I shared something was at my church. And then the response that I got gave me a little encouragement. And then I did it at the hub at YSU. And the response that I got was like, you need to be doing this for real. And it was so crazy because I did it on my phone. I was sitting down. I was shaky. I didn't look at the crowd. So it was very like a humbling experience. But from that day forward, because of the response I got and the impact that I made, I was like, I think that this is really something that God wants me to do. So I started to study other poets. I started to be around other poets. And there were a lot of poets that had been doing it for a while that kind of like took me under their wing, or we started having writing sessions and connecting with each other. And from that point on, I started a poetry show or open mic in my city. And it just took off from there and I was all over the place.
Oh, that's
So yeah.
beautiful. So
Listen, it's
to go
always
from there, like before that, like when did you fall in love? When did Jay fall in love with poetry?
That's a good question. I don't know if I actually was like hyper fixated on the fact that it was poetry. Like I imagine poetry to just be like very bland when I was younger. Like just, not really like spoken word. Like I just thought of it like I'm trying to give an example of like a poet, like an old poet that I can't give an example right now, but I didn't think of it like this. I didn't think of it as like a responsibility. I didn't think of it as like a real craft. So like when I was writing, I didn't know I was writing poetry for real. I was just venting. I was venting, and then like little things started to rhyme because I just had that, I guess I just had that gift to write. So things started to flow, and I'm like, okay, this goes here, and it was like a discovery of myself, like as I was doing it, but it was never the intention to write poetry.
Okay. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Listen, I know I love how everybody's start journey is always different.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like a lot of poets that I speak to or that I hear when they talk about their journey, it's always kind of the same narrative. Like I had kind of almost no intention to perform or didn't have the courage to perform.
Right.
And it's just like you really sit back and you look at the history of poetry and you're looking at like today's modern day era and you're like, poetry is so big now. We're nominated for Grammys and we're like,
yes.
Like, yo. And it's just like at the end of the day, the courage, now you have to have the courage. Now everybody wants to have the courage. It's like, okay, this is the thing. I'm like, again, poetry's always been so undervalued. So undervalued. I don't care how many times I say it on any podcast episode. I don't care. You're gonna hear it. It's undervalued. So value me, value my words, and hear what I have to say. But at the end of the day, I think it's beautiful to see how everybody blossoms from where they start, and just continue to grow from there, like all in their own little gardens.
Yeah, I think that happens. As long as you trust the process, you never know how far it's gonna take you. Because I've seen like it take me places that I never thought I would go. Even being in the military has taken me places with poetry. I'm like, how did the two connect? But it's like, as long as you're following your passion, that it will always, it will never lead you astray. I feel like if you continue to stay on that path, like you're going to see doors open up that you never thought that, will open up. So it's a blessing, honestly.
Before I get into your next question, I have a little game for you. And this was actually left by the last poet. Oh my gosh, now I'm trying to remember, what did we call it? Put a pen in it. Put a pen in it.
Put a pen in it. Oh.
Put a pen in it. So I'm going to ask the question that the last poet that was interviewed left for the next poet. And then when you're done answering, before this segment is over, you're going to come up with your own question for the next person.
Oh, okay, that's dope. I like that.
So it's put a pen in it.
What did they ask? Oh, God. Who was this poet?
The last artist was Complex Angel.
Yes.
So
Complex Angel. Okay, I have to look. I don't know if I'm familiar.
So
maybe.
Complex left a question. And it's funny because it was at the end of the segment, and we were like, "Hold on now, this is about to be a whole nother hour."
Oh God! Oh God! I'm scared.
I was like, "All right," and we were like, "No, we're gonna leave it for the next poet." So hence why I just put a pen in it.
But I don't feel like it don't relate to poetry.
It does.
It does.
Oh, okay.
The question is, and hopefully I'm saying it right because I don't have it pulled up. Do you feel like family members believe poets pillow talk to the world?
Not my family. I mean, okay, no, this is what I'll say. I think that those family members that are close to you don't really care. Like, they want you to tell your truth, tell your story, be creative. It's the family members that's outside the circle that you never see, the distant family that have a problem with it, because that has happened to me before because of the things that I wrote in my book. And I did have a family member say, you shouldn't be writing that, you shouldn't be putting your family's business out like that. So I guess the answer is yes. Some family members do, but your core circle gonna ride with you every time. So I feel like that's not a concern for me at all. And my family be looking at me like, I can't believe you said that. But they know, like, if ain't nobody gonna say it, I'm gonna say it. So.
And I think a part of that, and I love the question that she asked, because
that's a good question.
I was hot. We were hot. I was like, wait a minute.
That's
like, hold on. It was a really good question.
To the generational curse breakers.
Okay.
Listen, that part.
Okay. And I think it's really one of those things, like for me specifically, I think when I write, sometimes it's about my perception of my own experiences. without actually, I don't need to pinpoint who, what, where, when, why.
Right.
I don't. But I will, from whatever self-reflections and conversations I've had with self, I'm gonna tell my story and from my perception.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. If it don't apply, let that shit fly. That's just what that's how it'll go. And if it does, sorry, not sorry. Because at the end of the day, I can't be at fault for something that you're not taking accountability for.
That part.
That's on you. Your problem with what I say, that you see something wrong with it, ain't got nothing to do with me. They got something to do with you.
My truth is my truth,
And
my
also,
experience. You can't take that away.
And don't put people in positions to even want to write a poem like that about you. That's what I say. It's like, I can write a poem about you. It could be the greatest love story ever told, but it also can be, listen, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear these words and it might hurt your soul to hear it. And you're going to know who it's about. The world might not know who it's about, but like you said, take accountability and you got to feel that. That's why you can't just be, you can't be screwing over poets, man. You just can't.
You can't. What they say, be careful. Don't date a poet because you might end up in a poem. Listen, this is another side to that. And I said this, shout out to Jovan, because I said it to him because we had this conversation before and he said to me that exact statement. I said, well, I think a lot of people fail to understand that at some point you once were the muse.
Yeah, for sure. That's always how it starts out. Exactly. So, and then you got the ones that be like, write a poem about me. Oh, you want me to? Okay. Now the tables have turned. You don't want to hear the poem. Please.
Be careful what you ask. What you ask for.
Look, you gotta take the good with the bad. Be ready for both. Prepare for all.
Yeah. Yeah, and some people don't even realize though, like all of our poems don't be about people that we haven't had experiences with. We take experience from everywhere. So like there have been times where I've written poems and people's like, well, I didn't know that happened to you. And I'm like, every poem ain't about me. It ain't about me. Sometimes it's about reaching somebody else. So
it's no different from a film director or writer writing a story that isn't a true story, but it's presented so it's so believable. If people are like, yo, was this a true story? Was this in an article or something?
Yeah.
Like, no, it wasn't.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
They just got some damn good writing.
Right.
Made you believe that it was. And at the end of the day, I just feel like when it comes to poetry, when you can tell a story in a way that not only resonates but tells the story, and you become the storyteller, and it's so believable where someone may think that it is your truth.
Yeah.
Then your job is done.
If you have the gift of performance and you're able to transition it into emotion and give people who actually are going through them things, that feeling they need to overcome something, or they may resonate with, or all of the above, then do it. Why? By all means, take that avenue and run with it, because you touching hearts.
Yeah, for sure. And don't limit yourself either, because when you limit yourself to only telling your experiences, I feel like not that the box is so small, but it's like you don't give your brain like a space to really explore like other things. I feel like that, that it stifles your creativity in a way, because you're only talking, so you're waiting for whenever I go through something else, I'm going to write a poem. You know what I'm saying? Versus like, let me look at the world around me and really take it in and be inspired by that.
Yeah, I have always been a believer, like, if you have something that you're gonna write about, it doesn't necessarily have to be past trauma. It doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship that you've experienced. I have a thing where my light bulb might go off from the birds freaking chirping outside.
Right.
Okay, the cat meowing. Pure silence, and a child sleeping in a bedroom. Like, it could be that simple. And something might spark my brain, like, oh, I gotta write this down. And then I normally don't know what I'm writing until it's done.
I usually get like that,
but that's artistry.
I usually get right into that mood when I'm listening to smooth jazz. It like sparks something. It's like, ooh, This is coming to me.
My best friend experience that like witnessed, because she's listened to me, right, or she's listened to what I have written or any performance, but I've sat in her own living room and she's talking to me and I'm like this, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, hold on, give me two.
Yeah.
Hold on. And I'm like, all right,
I second that.
She's
I've
like,
seen it.
and she's
That's how it
like,
be.
she's like, wait, did you just write? And I'll say it. I'll read it to her. She's like, you didn't just write that right now. Like, you did not just write that. I was like, yeah, it just happens.
That's exactly how it be. It just comes to you, the weirdest moments, and it could just be a line, and you come back to it later. So, yeah,
I'm gonna shout out Mello, because Mello will do it right before his performance, and with a cliffhanger.
That's too much anxiety for me.
I've had a room. There was one DTL event that probably still hands down to this day my favorite one of all, because in that room I want to say
y'all. Sorry, I got one in my ear. Y'all can still hear me?
Yeah. I think about 50% of the open mic list were sitting in their chair writing a new piece to perform right
that's
then
fire.
and there.
That's
and
fire.
I was like, and it was funny because this is when I had shot my own self-tape, like the Hesitated Resignation one that I did. And I self-taped it. I filmed it and everything. It took me 7 hours total, editing and all. And I was just like, I had dropped it, I think, a week before DTL. And then just about majority of the room came up with a piece that included something relating to film. And I was like, what is happening?
That's dope.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Inspiration, man. Inspiration will do that to you.
And it's funny, like, I don't know, I tend to do that in a room purposely. And I even had an event where I did a piece called Follow the Leader. And it literally talked about poets piggybacking off of each other's themes when they hit the stage, when they already have it set in their mind what they're going to perform, and you just you fill in the room like, oh, everybody vibing off of it. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. Just do what already you came to do. And so I basically spit a piece that basically was like, you paying homage to these people, but are you really paying homage if you're not really being authentic with the piece that you're writing? You're piggybacking off of what has inspired you. So it's like, follow the leader, be the leader, don't be the follower. And then at that point, every single poet that hit the stage did not piggyback off each other.
That's what's
up. I was like, damn. They was like, well, Trish said follow the leader, follow Trish. That's it.
Look, they was trying to get it how they live. Yeah.
You gotta test it though. But I do have a question that a lot of people have a different way of handling it. How do you overcome writer's block?
I don't get it often.
Ooh, that's good.
Usually it's not like writer's block that I have. It's usually just like my time management. Like I have a lot going on and I just have not had time to really sit down and finish a piece, start a new piece. Like I have the ideas, they're in my head. I might write a line or two, but it's never really a block to where I go months or a long period of time without writing. There's always something that I feel like, can be written down, even if it's not a full poem at the moment. But if I do have writer's block, because I did write a piece that's called Writer's Block Just Ended. But if I do have writer's block, I typically like try to like go to a place or like even sitting in my apartment to where I'll pick, things that don't, that are just sitting around, like a chair, a candle or something. And I'll try to like train myself to write about that as if, as a metaphor. So I can bring that, just kind of like exercise that. Yeah. So I'll do that. And that's something I've done for years to get my pen back rolling. But it's very rare that I have writer's block. And I think that's a blessing because I know some artists go through it like for months and sometimes years. There will be times where I don't perform for long periods of time. There has been times like that. Like when I met you, I hadn't performed in like 2 years. But I was writing, like I just kept writing. So it's like, those type of isolation modes are not about poetry for me. It's more like a spiritual thing to where it's like I need to sit still. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
and be present.
yes, for sure.
I was one of those said people for years, 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And you gotta be. You gotta
It's just
be.
like, I was like, I don't think I'll ever do that again. And I went days without like right now I don't have writer's block, but I'm just, when life is life, and it's like, all right, I ain't got it right now.
Yeah.
But when it do come out,
you feel it. Like you feel it in your gut. Like I got something that needs to come out, or you just feel like I'm writing a poem, but it's not on paper yet, but I'm writing it on the inside, and I feel like it's gonna be really powerful.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Let's talk about how Say Words came about.
Say word. So like I told you, in my hometown in 2013, my sister and I started an open mic called Speak Up Sundays. She has a nonprofit called Speak. And I used that as like inspiration. And I'm like, I feel like there needs to be something. Like there weren't any open mics at the time. If they were kind of like in bars, you know, that type of vibe. So I was like, we should start an open mic. And it was like people was dancing, singing, doing poetry, like whatever your talent was, we gave you the free reign. And it was in a church, but it's like a church/community center my godparents owned. And it was just a good time, like for anybody to be in that city, like the inner city, to just be able to come to Speak Up Sundays. It was free to get in. So that was also, you know, a plus for the community. They would come in, you know, we had food there. It was just a nice, like, family vibe. So from that point on, like, I just saw the impact and what it did for people. And also, like, when, you know, I kind of had to, like, pivot out of it, like, also the impact of that and how people were just like, man, I miss Speak Up Sundays and you got to start back up. But they didn't understand the journey that I was on either. You know what I'm saying? I had to really step back and like do some things for myself. So that's how the poetry or open mic journey started as a curator. And after that, when I moved to Columbus, some time in the military, moved to Columbus almost 2 years ago now, I had already had the idea for Say Word, but I didn't know it was going to be a poetry show. I just wrote it down. You know what I'm saying? I wrote it down. I didn't know if it was going to be like a podcast. I didn't know if it was going to be like some type of like interview situation. I had no idea for real, but I wrote it down, and then I kept coming back to it, and I started to write things in there, and then it started to turn it. This is going to be like a poetry show. And I saw a need in Columbus. I did see poetry shows, but I didn't see one specifically like Say Words. So I took that and ran with it, and connected with the right people, the right space, and it just went from there. It was originally supposed to be at a coffee shop, but that didn't work out because the managers of that coffee shop, you know, they kind of played me on the contract. They went back on their word. I don't know what their intentions was with that, but God had a different route, because I really wanted that space because it was Black owned, it was woman owned, and they weren't having any poetry shows or anything like that. So I knew what I could bring to the table. But we negotiated a certain price. We had a contract and everything like ready. And when it came down to it, like I think I met with somebody else another time, and then they switched managers. Like the managers just switched out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay. So my terms had now changed. So they were asking for this amount of money, and we want this, and I'm just like, look,
Giving you
that
the
has to be a
whole
sign.
runaround.
Absolutely. And I'm like, this
They
is
were
not what
looking
the
at
contract
just
was
the
saying.
benefit.
They were looking at the benefit, you know, and not the impact. And I understand that, because you're a business at the end of the day, but like, they didn't understand the value that I was able to bring. They didn't know me like that at all. So they were just probably thinking like, oh, this, you know, whatever. But I met Ludie, who's the owner of the gallery. I met her because I did a show called Bright Black with a friend of mine. He interviewed me, and the show was there. And I said, this is the space. And after I met her, it went from there, and it's been like a beautiful connection ever since. And yeah, it's been taking off. So
her space is definitely beautiful. I love her art. We're gonna make sure we tag her.
Yes, for
her
sure.
business, her business location within the podcast, so that way people can actually find her, purchase her art. Because she's a beautiful person altogether. When I met her, just phenomenal. That her energy is just amazing.
Yeah.
She's just
Definitely
an overall
contagious,
positive
yeah.
person.
And it's been seamless.
Absolutely.
It's been seamless. Like you do not find spaces to where it's like you don't have like there's no like friction. Like there's no it's just listen, I'm here to support creatives. She's very like minded when it comes to the things I think about. So it fits. So that the coffee shop didn't work out for a reason. I mean, significantly lower, like, rent every month. So, like, I don't have to worry about that. So, it's just been a beautiful thing. And I think
Blessings.
that, yeah, Say Word has been a blessing to people. So, I'm doing my
You
best
definitely
to
have.
keep everything
I
running.
enjoyed it.
It's not easy, as you
It's
know.
not.
It's
It's
not
not.
easy. So, like, in a process of like, really trying to build a team because I understand like people have a lot going on and I have to like expand on the team because sometimes I get in my ego mode. It's like I could do it all by myself, knowing dang well I can't do it all by myself. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you want to get it done the right way, but also it's like you need help along the journey. So that's what God is dealing with me. It's like let people like delegate things and let people do things for you and help and support because you get burned out.
You do.
I'm gonna give you and Trish the side eye. Like y'all know better. This is what I'm here for.
I
Sit
wonder what your
down.
life path number is, Trish. Do you know it?
No.
You have to look that up for me. Just look up what your life path number is. I wonder if
What
you're
is
a
that?
9.
Wait, now we're gonna do this. What is a life path here?
So your life path number is
I'm an
like
8.
you're 8. Okay, like what you're meant to do. Like you're kind of like your personality in a way, but it shows like the path of like that you're supposed to go. So it'll show like if you're like for me, I'm a 9. So like is very like hospitable, like very much like a helper, needing to like support and like just help people. So like social work jobs and things like that.
We're about to do this. We're about to do this.
I'm very curious. You either
y'all play too much. Hold on now.
I feel like you
Now,
might be a 9 or a 5.
don't nobody judge me. See, this is why I love
I'm gonna be
podcasts because
very shocked
we
if
can
you're
do
not.
everything.
I know I'm curious as well.
What's your sign?
Aquarius.
Okay.
2.
We're
It's a
both.
2? Let's see what it says though.
People that were born with a 2 life path are blessed with beautiful hearts that they use to bring beautiful relationships into their lives. From romantic and business partnerships to family, family and friendships. These bonds are the most valuable thing to life to a person with a life path 2. They thrive in being part of a team and will do everything in their power to make it a happy, easy, and successful union. They are incredibly giving and
I'm
do
curious.
well at creating long-lasting connections with others. Oh, that is so true about me. It's so amazing. All right, so wait, what happened?
I'm shocked that it don't say nothing about like your like the career field and everything. You'll probably have to dig into it a little bit later or something. You'll
because
be able
then
to,
you have to be one of these numbers and then look it up.
Right.
So I did see that. I do like this though. It says this level into it says they may often just know things about people they meet or be able to sense the undercurrent of a situation before it reveals itself. If that ain't me to it, it says this level of intuition allows people with a life path number 2 to get in front of problems and address them before they start to throw things off balance. Listen.
Yeah, I mean that sounds about right. Dig into it more. You definitely gotta look into that some more because you're gonna find out some stuff.
Now y'all gonna have me in here looking like I really don't be into the numerology or anything that's related.
She learning today.
I'm like, oh,
I mean, like I'm not like deep in it, but I know enough to like to where it's like, oh, this is why I'm like this, or that's why I'm like that. You know what I'm saying?
To understand yourself. Yep. Exactly.
Right.
So for the life of me and what I've been doing on my little clickety click, clickety click, I've been sitting here trying to find Artistic Genius's very first performance at DTL.
Girl. Oh wait, in DTL?
Yep.
Oh, I thought you was about to say ever. I said, girl,
she would have
don't
been.
do that.
She probably could find it.
I
It
went
don't
through
exist.
archives.
No, you talking about for the first performance? It's on my Instagram, and
I know, and I had like the whole video, and I think I got
I
a
like you
feeling
posted it.
I did post it, but I'm saying I always have like it saved.
Yeah.
Any of the ones that I
She
did
has a
edit,
million files.
I do. I have literally 1, 2, 3 physical hard drives.
Okay.
There's definitely about, what's that? 2, 4, that's 6. There's about close to 15 to 18 terabytes on my computer.
Yikes. Yeah, it's pinned on my page though.
Hold on,
I'm
baby.
so mad
Hold on.
that I can't find my other AirPod, y'all.
I've been
Oh, here we go.
requested for barbecue. I've been asked to get barbecue sauce.
Oh, okay. You gotta have the barbecue sauce. You gotta have the sauce with the chicken nuggets. You can't just leave her out. Have the dry chicken nuggets.
With the dino nuggets.
I'd be liking the double sauce. Like I'll dip it in the ranch, the buffalo, and the barbecue.
Right.
Listen, these dino nuggets are everything. If you never had dino nuggets in your life, I don't know what you're missing.
They got them in the vegan form.
Yeah, I think they do.
I might have to try a dino.
Listen, dino nuggets is where it's at. I don't know what it is about them.
I think Morningstar probably makes it.
Yeah,
Do
I
they?
think Morningstar
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, though.
So what do you think? I got a question.
You wasn't at that performance. You wasn't at that performance.
Wasn't.
Oh, okay.
She wasn't. Dee wasn't around for the first beginning round.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
I wasn't there for the very first performance, but I vended at DTL's very first.
Oh yeah,
show.
very, very first show. Yeah, she did.
Okay.
I started off vending.
So I think
Got you.
You came in around probably like the third. I think this was it the third? Well, the third event we had. Yeah, third event. Because we switched locations. That's when we were at the studio.
Okay.
But the photography studio. But it's crazy that I can't find it. Oh, that's gonna drive me insane. I'm like,
what's your question, Divine?
Oh, I wanted to know what do you think people misunderstand about you?
That I'm mean, or like I've been told that I have like this demeanor to where it's like don't talk to me, or like stuck up, or like I won't, I feel like I'm better than other people, and that's never the energy that I give. Like I'm very welcoming. I'm always like down to collaborate and work with people, and then when they find that out, they're like, oh, you actually like super cool, and I'm like, no, what did you think? I had that conversation like a few months ago. Like, what did you think? Oh, I didn't know. I thought you just didn't like me, or like I'm like, I'm super cool. It's just, but I do protect my energy. Like I don't just let anybody just like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
So I'm very observant, and I've been like that since I was a child. But it's always love. It's just like you just got to get to know me. But I get that a lot. Like people feel like I'm just not approachable, whether that's dating, friends, whatever.
Because, like, you be ready, like you be in your zone. So
I be serious.
Yeah, you be in your zone, but that didn't stop me. I was like, hey, I'm
it definitely all depends, especially with Jay, because like even with knowing her for a certain period of time, just for a short period of time, like the next time we saw each other, I think for her really it all depends on who it is.
Yeah, maybe.
It really is who it is, because when you saw me, the last time you saw me back in April, was like, you was like, come here, like what's like, nah, this ain't church, like come here. It really all depends. And it's still you sitting in the crowd, a lot of people were like, I found it hilarious. Let's put this disclaimer out here. I find it the crowd that was in the room during your feature.
For April?
People were like, who's artistic genius? And I was like, y'all gonna learn today. Y'all gonna learn today.
And it was chill, man.
It's funny because like you really was sitting on the side and just with the tea. With the tea, just sitting here and chilling.
But once I spoke, it was totally different. He was like, "Hey, how's you guys?"
Yeah, I'm very embracing. Yeah,
a lot of people were like, a lot of people were like, some people that did see you perform before, like Mello and Giovanna, were like, yo, where's she been at? I say, yo, she been around. She still been in like, y'all not paying attention. Like, I'm like, okay. And then there were a lot of other poets that after your performance spoke to me afterwards and were like, yo, she's fire. Like, this is crazy. I've never, how did we miss this? Like, I was just like, well, that's the beauty of what I do.
Yeah, I be flying under the radar, man, because, and it's not like I don't feel like I'm overlooked, but I feel like maybe because of my demeanor and because sometimes I'm just like chill, like I don't know, like I try to keep myself like humble in a way, like I don't know. I don't be like just out there boasting. I'm just chill. So like I think that
very chill.
Because I don't do a whole lot, that like people sometimes miss me or like don't really think to like artistic genius. Like I get that a lot. Like, damn, I forgot you did. I'm like, how? But
it's like she didn't go hide under a rock. Like, come on, guys.
Hi, I'm here. I'm still here. So yeah, and I've been going by that name since, it's been a minute, like 2012, 2011, something like that.
Here we go. I got it now. I'm gonna just pull it because we're gonna do a little recap for a second. We're gonna do a little recap.
Which video is this? I'm curious. Which poem is this?
This?
No. Skip that one.
That's the only one we have.
Oh God, you know how cringy it is to watch yourself perform.
All right.
Enjoy.
So this what we gonna do. Since she
don't
want to see the.
I know what you about to do. Yeah, let's look at that one.
So that's
the most hated poem in America.
It's crazy because I'm in the process of working on.
We gotta see where you came from, though, in DTL too. So
it's called "Niggas Hate Studs." I don't identify as a stud, but that's what most people would think I am. I present as a masculine woman. But I am in a community of a lot of studs, so I felt like this poem
1.12K subscribers, and we had 1,000 views. We had 1,000 views.
How you know you don't like dick if you ain't try it? I said, how you know you don't like dick if you ain't try it?
I was on the side like real shit.
How about this? I'll try it if you try it first, and maybe we can both diversify our portfolio since you're so concerned on why I choose not to take dick but change inches in plastic, stretching her out like a canvas, cracking her back, chiropractic, legs everywhere. It's incredible like elastic. Niggas hate studs.
I can't believe I said that.
I mean, it is a wonderful thing to be on this side of the team, man.
I believe it. First of all,
I witnessed it. I
can't believe I said that. Oh my God.
When you're an editor,
you said the first line videos, and looked at me.
It was hilarious. I'm sitting here cracking up the whole time I was editing this one piece. For the life of me, I was dying because when you're editing, I have to constantly hear you guys like over and over and over to make sure things line up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's why most of the time if I'm at a DTL event, people will see me like, I'll look like I might not be paying attention or I might not be hearing your whole piece. And it's like, because when I get home and I'm in the comfort of my own home with these headphones on, I hear you.
Man,
I hear you.
See?
And it's to the point where sometimes a lot of y'all words be so verbatim to me when I hear it at another event. I be in the crowd like, like
yeah, right.
like it's a track. But this piece I put up first because first of all, it's fire. Like, at the end of the day, I knew it was going to draw the crowd, and the niggas was going to be like, what she just say? What she just say?
They said it was a safe space.
It is.
But the beautiful thing about it is that majority of the men in the room loved it.
They did, yeah.
They did, and I love that. I think my next one is going to probably be my favorite, which was the painting one with the canvas.
I'm going to do that tonight. For the people.
Yay! Yeah. That was so. Listen, for anybody, I'm gonna get a little. We're gonna do a rewind because I'm gonna get a little backstory. Even though Jay gave her a little intro, we're gonna do a rerun because she kind of did me dirty at the other at Say Words and got all emotional and sentimental before I hit the stage, and I'm like, not the thug tears, man.
Super sentimental. People think that I'm not, but I'm super, like, I know this hard exterior, but I'm super sentimental. Like, I'm super emotional.
Oh, so you're a Sour Patch?
I guess you could say, until you get to know me for real.
So
I'll be crying at the drop of a dime.
For the public, the poem that is going to be spit tonight is the reason why I pulled her from the crowd in the first place.
First time
and when I say one, and I don't have many favorite pieces from artists, but when I say one of my favorite, and it was just like, yo, and I guess it comes from a place too, like being an actual artist myself, like actually drawing art, and it's just like, which I haven't done in decades, but like it was just like, oh my god, this is Picasso.
I try to incorporate art and some type of metaphor to art in all of my pieces.
So it's one of my favorite pieces, and I know I'm gonna go ahead and edit it because I'm gonna be editing tonight after I do 2 more podcast interviews.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a long night. It's Thursday. Listen, at the end of the day, oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Mo just text. He's still what?
Yeah, you good. That is hilarious. So like that is my alter ego artistic, because I would never say that as Jay, I don't think. So like some of the stuff I write and I say, I'm just like, wow, your mother could be watching, but she don't care. She supports me.
My mom watches a lot
my
of
mom watches everything. Oh my god,
everything. And when I think when my mom actually came to a DTL event for the first time, and she like did cook the food and everything, she actually sat and witnessed poetry live versus watching it online. And my mom's really not into poetry like that at all, and she was just like, this was different.
Yeah.
And I was like, of course it's different. You feel different. Especially depending on the environment and depending on because everybody I've heard so many people tell me like, yo, DTL feels so welcoming, so safe. And that brings me to my next question. What was your first impression of DTL when you first performed? We talking about way back.
No, just kidding.
You're the devil is a liar.
First of all, my first impression of you, I think I talked about it a little bit when I first met you. Very bossy. But no, I was
demanding,
but also inviting though. So I felt comfortable like on our first interaction and coming to DTL. Like I think I definitely did my research. Like when you had asked me that, I think I followed the page or something like that. I'm like, okay. But it gave me a really good vibe, like, sort of how I feel or you felt at Say Word, like very intimate, very safe. The vibes was dope, like the posts were dope, like it was just a good time. Like I felt good when I left. The energy was good, like from the crowd. Like I think the standard that you set, when it comes to like respect the mic, respect the poets, like that felt good as well, because I didn't feel like my art was taken for granted. And my family enjoyed it. Like they still talk about it to this day. So my family enjoyed it. I had people fly to come out. So
you were the first person that had family come support. The entourage.
My family don't play no games.
It was about
Shout out to the
7-8 y'all in
family.
here.
It was a few of us, and they had a great time. Like I don't think any of us wanted it to end for real. And we made a lot of connections. Like there were so many people there, like poets, just people in the crowd that I still like communicate with on social media from Philly today. So definitely
we trying to figure out when we coming back to Ohio. So
I'm trying to figure out when it's my time to come back there.
We coming
for real. Like I gotta come back.
We got.
I know we gonna bring it back and forth. We gonna trade places.
I'm trying to do it before the year is before 2025. I'm trying to come back there for sure. I've been trying to figure out the dates though. October is busy for me, but I'm gonna get down there for sure.
Yeah,
October is busy for me every third Sunday. Every third Sunday is DTO. Every third Sunday. Yeah. The only time it'll change is if like, for sure, if it's like my daughter's birthday falls in October, So if ever her
And
birthday
my
falls
son's
on
birthday
that
a couple
day,
days
it's
before
like,
hers.
yeah.
Okay. I gotta get to
Because
VIP too.
yes. They're next. They have a couple,
Yes.
but they're on tour too. So
Yeah,
they'll
I
be
saw
at
that, and I'm gonna miss some days, but I'm gonna try to get to one of them for sure. Yeah, because I've been trying to get there for like years. And it's like I went,
Yes.
but you know how the raffle was going on, so I didn't get a chance to perform. But I just enjoyed those vibes as well. So Philly,
absolutely.
y'all
It's
got some
always
stuff out there, man. All the
listen.
you.
Catch us outside. Actually, like I think my next goal is to tackle other smaller platforms that don't really have a lot of light shined on them.
Yeah.
Just so people can know, like, yo, if I go to this city, where the poetry platforms
Yeah.
at? If I go just for like a weekend or something, where can I go to feel the vibe and perform and meet some of the artists from this city, type of situation.
Yeah. I gotta get to Jersey too. I heard Jersey be doing, so I just want to explore. Maybe I'll do a tour. Maybe I'll do a tour.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So we're gonna go ahead. We got 10 minutes left on the clock. I'm gonna go ahead and let you spit your piece.
Oh, okay. That's what we're doing.
And then I hope you got your question ready for your next artist, for the next artist that's gonna be on here.
I'm gonna go on the fly. Let me see. All right. This poem is called The Art Project. Ever since I was a child, I have always felt the need to fix things. I carried my heart around like a toolbox. My emotions became a screwdriver, twisting and turning to help someone else's brokenness, ultimately to satisfy my own. You see, I used band-aids of affection to patch together the wounds I did not bruise. I glued pieces of your stories to my back just to let the world know I had yours. But how did I find myself back here? Stuck in a remnant of my own toxic ways, building upon a fragile foundation with no real estate of substance. As I walked next to you, the ground shook. I could feel the vibration beneath my feet, but I ignored every red flag. I dismissed every slap in the face out of curiosity, because I wanted to see if fixing you would somehow heal me, and you became just another art project of mine, a blank canvas craving some color, so I blindly dipped my brush in what I thought you needed. I gave you palette knife layers in ways you can still talk about to this day, but I'm sure I also damaged a few edges along the way, because I impaled this anime character into a realism portrait, watched how the structure of the frame became manipulated. At the very beginning, it slouched, it was unleveled, the composition was, well, lopsided. But I was trying to paint you perfect for me, but oils and acrylics don't mix. The drying time is different. The perspective is missing. Our souls together were extremely resistant, and because of history, I forced it. I hung you high on hooks anyway. Command stripped you down in hopes for stability. I put you on display for everyone to admire the masterpiece of trauma I felt I created. To be elated at sold out art shows, to push your gift in ways you did not push yourself. You were amused of silent abuse with nothing physical to prove it, and I saw a future with only potential to improve it. Every morning, like coffee, I brewed it. Not too dark, a spoon of cream with a little bit of honey to move it. I was trying to blend you for me, and still that shit was not sweet, which is why this loyalty was so easy for you. You see, the canvas owes nothing to the artist. On its easel, it just sits and waits for an opportunity to be serenaded. It didn't matter how much we believed we cared about each other. Our flaws clashed like a battle, taunting and raiding, picking at each other's insecurities like old scabs. Lord knows I've had my fair share of imperfect moments, but I owned them like my LLC. I was the sole proprietor of my shit. And I never shit where I ate, and I never gave one up to a bum chick that was a fan from my page, because my loyalty was a badge of honor. I was the most decorated soldier in your circle. I stood in formation at attention for longer than my knees could bear, and all you could say was, I didn't ask you to stand there. Damn! I gotta stop turning women into art projects, because art projects have deadlines. And when the show is over, the people go home, and I'm left alone to pick up the mess. That's on me. But I gave you murals, All you gave to me was more reasons to heal. Poem. Love y'all.
We love
I
you.
appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for having
Listen,
me.
just gave me life again, as
Thank you for
always.
being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what's your question for the next artist?
So it might be simple, but what has poetry become for you? Like outside of just words and performances, what has poetry been for you? Whether that's mental health, for stability, whatever it is, like what has poetry been to you or for you?
That's a good one.
They
That's a
need
good
that deep
one.
thinking. Come on,
It's
thank
something
you
to
with
think
the
about.
questions.
I already know who the next artist is that's going to answer that one.
Oh dang! Okay.
This next artist that we're gonna be interviewing for the next segment is multi-talented in different areas, so poetry was not their first lane.
Okay.
So
okay.
So it's definitely gonna be a great question for that person. So
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited.
Get ready for the
I'm excited
answer.
to watch the next. Yeah, I'm excited to watch the next interviews.
Listen,
Yeah. When is this coming out?
So let's see. But we're gonna go ahead and end this part, and then y'all don't hang up. We're gonna go ahead and finish that.
All right, cool.
I want y'all to definitely tap in with Artistic Genius on her
Yes.
Instagram. You can follow her everywhere. You can follow SayWordWeds. Fly out to Ohio, y'all. Make sure y'all check out the platform, check out the venue, purchase some of the venue owner's art. Just come out and vibe with great people that are very warm and welcoming, and just hear some dope shit, because
she definitely is an artistic genius.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, y'all. See y'all at the next segment. Peace and love. Boo, 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 boo.